Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for another edition of Digital Soul Presents. We're very honored to have this brother on today, who is actually also a personal friend of mine and one of the most humblest brothers I know as well. One of the most talented singers, songwriter, producers, and performer. My brother Martin Kember is in the house today. Brother Martin, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Good to see you, man. Thanks for having me
Man,
on.
no problem, man. Glad that you can stop by and chit chat with me for a little bit, man. First of all, how you been doing?
Man, all good. We recently had that show at the Venice West on April 21st, the anniversary of Prince's passing, and I think it was their first sellout on a Sunday night of the year, so I was happy about that, man. All the Rainbow Children came out, man. We had a good time. We had a
Very
good
cool.
time.
And
Yeah.
you call that show the Purple Musicology Tour, correct?
Purple musicology, yeah, because
Yeah.
musicology is the study of music, and purple musicology is the study of purple music. And hey, that's what I'm constantly doing is studying, that wonderful catalog of purple music that the Purple Yoda left for all of us to enjoy.
No doubt, man, no doubt. And how long has it been now since you started that particular show now?
Um, let's see, probably only about 2 years, really.
Okay.
Not long. Um, I've always, when I've performed, incorporated Prince songs into my sets because I've just always been such a big fan. In fact, even when I was with Color Me Bad, when we were on those more recent tours, I would always, in the middle of the show, just stop and do like "Do Me Baby" or "How Come You Don't Call Me" or something like that. Just, because it feels good.
Yeah, yeah.
But of course, after Prince's passing, for a little while, I didn't do too much, but just because everybody's dealing with, okay, how do we process this? But it's just really therapy for
Yeah.
me because he was such a, an idol of mine. It actually just is kind of like a selfish therapy for me to sing his music and play it with the caliber of the musicians that I'm blessed to be able to play with and try
Yeah.
to recreate what he created, at the highest level possible.
Yeah. Make it as good as he did or better if possible,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know about better, but
We
if
can,
we can get this close, then
yeah,
we're
it's always good to aim for it
exactly,
though.
exactly. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And I know you've been singing a long time, man. Oh
Have
man.
a margarita.
Oh man. Well, I got lemonade here.
Okay, all right, all right. Still fruit
Look,
juice, lime,
yeah.
lemon, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man, very cool. Because I know you've been singing for quite a while, man. How, at what age or what time frame do you remember that you first discovered that you love to sing, man? About how?
I was a little kid. In fact, my sister told me a story the other day that when I was very young, um, my mom and my sister, who was 17 when I was born,
Mm.
um, they heard me, in the front room with the record player, and just singing along. And I was, I had my sister's, according to my sister, I had my sister's hairbrush using it as a microphone and just, going off. And I remember some of the first 45s that I ever had um, were Rod Stewart's Maggie May, Where's the Love, Donny Hathaway and
Oh
Roberta
wow.
Flack.
Wow.
And those are the first two I remember actually having of my own. So I would just, have records and just, sing along and, try to, even if I couldn't understand the words, I'd be phonetically mumbling,
Yeah,
So,
mimicking the sounds.
and my mom was an opera singer, so I got the music
Mm,
bug, honestly, you know what I mean? And my dad was a huge classical fan. But my mom was the singer.
yeah. Did she ever record professionally, or was she just
She
in the
didn't,
group?
she did record one album, and this is a while back. So what
Very
she
cool.
did, it was a recorded performance, actually on a 78.
Oh wow.
Yes, and man, I wish we still had it. But no, my mom was a very kind of well known opera singer in London, and in fact, the reason that when I was a kid, 5 years old, when we moved to this country from the UK. It was right after my mom performed at Carnegie Hall. And so, yeah, so we kind of fell in love with the country and looked at the opportunity here. And my dad got a job offer, and before we knew it, we were moving to the US. Good
Yeah.
move, Dad. Good move, Mom.
Very cool. So at that stage, being very young, that's what I gathered the Donny Hathaway and
Oh yeah.
the Rod Stewart, the
Al
Maggie.
Green, yeah,
Yeah,
Al
I
Green. I
remember that
remember having
song.
early too. Yeah,
Yeah, I
stay
remember
together.
very vividly those songs. Yeah,
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 good soul and rock and things like that back then, man.
for sure. And in England, it was a show that's was around till very recently called Top of the Pops. Right? So every Thursday night, Top
Mhm.
of the Pops would come on, and that's I would be glued to the television. And then when I got to the US, it was Soul Train, of course. I was glued
Yeah,
every Saturday to Soul Train, and that was an American Bandstand somewhat too, but I was always drawn more towards the soulful dancing and the soulful music and those
yeah.
beautiful ladies.
Yeah. So when you found your voice, when did you finally decide, okay, this is something I'm going to go ahead and pursue as a career?
Um, as a kid and even growing up, it was kind of like that elusive dream in a sense,
Yeah.
you like it's like, oh, I can sing, and oh, my mom has her friends over, and oh wow, me and my sisters got a job on a boat, as the entertainment with the band behind us, and we used to do impersonations and stuff like that when I was, probably 8 years old.
Wow. Wow.
And so I always loved doing it, but I didn't really believe that it was possible to really pursue it. It just seemed like that, the impossible dream, really.
Hmm.
Um, and I'd say when I really got serious about it, well, I first started off as a DJ. And I was in a club, working at a club called the Ozone on Parthenia in Northridge, way back in the day. And
Wow.
I would do Friday nights with um, Terry Bixler was the manager who moved on to choreograph for Janet Jackson and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I wasn't even old enough to get into the club. It was 16 and up, but I still wasn't old enough. But I was DJing Friday nights, and but back in those days we'd party. But then when it came time to get a little closer to that lady that you've been dancing with all night, we break it down and play the slow jams. So,
Yeah.
I would play some Do Me Baby or some Earth, Wind and Fire Reasons, and I grabbed the mic and sing along. And it was just like people's reactions encouraged me. Uh, and but then when my best friends in high school, Sean and Jeff, we got together. Jeff was had the equipment and knew how to kind of create a track. And I watched, how he did that, and we would come up with ideas together. And then we started like seriously, like, hey, Jeff was working at KJLH at the time, Stevie Wonder's radio station. He was an
Yeah.
on-air personality, and they had a nice little, 16-track studio in the back of KJLH. So we'd go sneak in there after hours and go cut our demos on Stevie's equipment. And
Nice.
that's where we really like honed our skills in the back studio at KJLH on Crenshaw. Yeah, great times, man. And those are still, my best friends to these days. And, before too long, we had a good demo. L.A. Dre from the NWA camp joined our group, and we had a record deal, and we were touring the country, performing and doing all the radio stations. I'm like, this dream is actually kind of happening, And then, hey, we're on stage getting interviewed by Don Cornelius on Soul Train, the
Yeah.
show that I grew up watching. So, yeah,
Yeah.
man, I've been fortunate, to see a lot of just great times through music, and music's always opened those doors for me.
Very cool. And for those that don't know, the group is called as One.
As one,
Yeah,
yes.
and it came right through the New Jack era there.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and,
As one. Yep.
and
And
unfortunately only one album, but if you find that album, it is a must have. It's definitely a there it
cassette.
is, yeah. Right on time, Martin. Right on time. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
ladies and
right.
gentlemen,
Those,
as
those are my
one.
mementos, you know.
Yes, yes. So yeah, that is indeed a classic and a rare finding. So definitely find that album, CD, whatever format, find it, 'cause it's a must have.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And
Yeah, those,
yeah, I know you mentioned with that group, you did a lot of touring and exposure and things like that. But like I said, unfortunately, you guys did not stay together, but still remain friends. Talk a little
of
bit
course.
about you guys departing and going your different ways.
After the first album, we peaked at like number 37 R&B with Trust in Me. and then Christmas hit. And
Oh,
then, the whole radio shuts down and everybody starts playing Christmas music.
mm,
And yeah, then as the new year started, um, our people were, kind of ready to switch their playlists up, set their so yeah, we kind of peaked at 37 with Trust in Me, and then we peaked at 18 with our second single on the R&R chart. We peaked at like number 18 with a ballad called With You. And we actually did a remix with Easy E of With You, which was a lot of fun too.
yeah.
Um, but then the record label, we were actually um, label mates with James Brown at the time on Scotty Brothers Records. So he was their other R&B act, right? Okay. And we were their R&B act too. So the label was going through some changes at the time, and they brought in a new crew. Um, and they just really didn't, see the vision that we had. They were doing they wanted to get into some more harder edged hip hop stuff for their R&B urban artists, and
Yeah.
we were a little, an R&B group led by a white guy, right? So, and they did have some success there with they had not long after that they had remember I forget the name of the artist, but I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish it was I think he
Oh,
was on.
Skilo.
Yeah, if he, I
Oh,
think if
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
correctly, he was on the label too,
yeah. He sure
um,
was on Scotty
not
Brothers.
long
Yeah.
after us. So they kind of had a little success there, but yeah, they just kind of lost their support, and I kept writing, but also L.A. Dre had kind of segued out of the group at that time and was doing some other projects. He went out on the road with Too Short,
Right.
um, and doing Too Short as a sound engineer for Too Short. And Jeff got offered the music director position at KJLH. So he was around less. So it was kind of like, Sean is more of a rapper and a melody guy, but it was me, trying to keep the creative flows going.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and before, too long, they just weren't really feeling the direction of the stuff that we were creating at that time.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
then before we knew it, it was kind of like, okay, now what? You know what I mean? So
Time
everybody's
to
cool.
move on.
Sean went on to do
Yeah.
mortgages. Jeff was, working at KJLH, and I went back and got a good old day job. Like I've kind of always held down, and started working on solo stuff. Like if I'm gonna do it, I may as well do it for me. And I was a single dad too, and so I would pick up my son from either my mom would pick him up from school, and I would pick him up from my mom's house after school, after work, and feed him, get him to bed, play with him, do whatever we were gonna do. And then I got my Ensoniq EPS, right, which was that sampling, sequencing keyboard where you could do everything. And I wrote would just write after my son went to bed. I'd just keep the headphones on and write in our one bedroom apartment. And those songs are the songs that I created that enabled me to get a publishing deal with Chrysalis as a writer. And then Chrysalis presented those songs to Warner Brothers, and that's where I got my Warner Brothers solo deal, which uh, bore the album One Shade of Love, which is a whole nother story. Whole nother story. But yeah, that album was a dream come true because I had finally had the big budget, and we were recording at Ocean Way and Larrabee, and all the big studios with engineers like John Gass, which was Babyface's mix engineer, and Mick Gazowski was doing all the Whitney and Luther stuff, and we made this big romantic lush, analog, all analog, 48 track analog, um, really kind of timeless sounding album.
Yeah.
And that unfortunately did not again get the support of the label,
Right.
but it kind of found its own cult following kind of all over the world, especially Europe. And you know after that situation with Warner Brothers, was over, I started shopping some of those songs, and Kenny Lattimore recorded one of the songs from that album, and this other boy band, which was a Christian boy band called Plus One. So all these ones, we were as one, right? Then there's Plus One. They recorded a song of mine called "When Your Spirit Gets Weak," and that was my first gold success as a songwriter. I didn't get to produce that one. I fought to try to get to produce it. But yeah, but that was my first gold record as a producer. Excuse me, as a songwriter.
Okay.
And and Kenny Lattimore did real well with his album Weekend also. So, I've always just you have to kind of continuously kind of reinvent, how to be involved in the creation of music. And
Yeah, yeah,
I've been lucky
absolutely.
enough to be able to do that.
Yeah, if you find some way to fit in and make it work somehow. Yeah,
Absolutely. Use your talents,
yeah, absolutely. And
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 develop and grow your talents.
yeah, that's for sure. Never stop. If you're really hungry about it, never stop. Continue to grow, continue to learn it, continue to process all the new technology, whatever you can do.
You got it.
Gain as much as you possibly can because the industry is forever changing, music is forever changing,
Oh
and
yeah,
and people that listen to music are forever changing because
that is so true.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
change. And I know with you, you mentioned Kenny Lattimore and some of these other artists that you worked with. You also had the opportunity to write and perform or produce actually the Tupac song that you worked on shortly after that, right?
Yeah, not a little bit after the Warner Brothers situation. I'd made a lot of friends and had, a good amount of respect and relationships in the business, and got the call from Interscope, and they're like, we're looking for tracks for Tupac. What do you have? So they sent me the acapellas, and me and my good friend to this day, Jamie Jones from All for One. I went over to his studio. I had just started another full-time job, right? So I'm like, damn it, Jamie.
Perfect
So
timing.
yeah, so Jamie's like, well, just come over after work, man. We'll grind on it. And he had a nice Pro Tools studio. I still have my Ensoniq EPS. But yeah, so me and Jamie and my other partner, a good friend of mine, Jason Pennock, we built musical tracks around just those DATs that Interscope sent me of Tupac's acapellas, and we landed two of them, one with Left Eye, Let 'Em Have It, and another one with Casey and JoJo called Thuggin' You, Thuggin' Me, and I was just really honored to be a part of Tupac's legacy and have kind of like some of my creativity next to his is just amazing.
Yeah,
And that went on to sell like 6 million worldwide, and it's not finished. It never is finished.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you did continue to have success also because you continued your solo career. You had another album called Cycles.
Yeah. Those
Yeah,
cycles came about in the MySpace days, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so I was out here in LA, and I recently just moved to Chicago. Um, and another really good friend of mine and a writer, Emil Gantos, and he recently had some number ones with Charlie Wilson. Beautiful song called "I'm Blessed," you might be familiar with,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
Emil. That's Emil. So me and Emil started writing together because he was based in Chicago too. So we
Okay.
started writing together, and I met this other really talented brother named Reese Nicholas from the UK, and he started sending me tracks from the UK, and I would record them and send them back to him, and we tweak it. And before we knew it, a lot of these songs were kind of going viral, especially one that is still kind of like as a solo artist, my biggest hit, this song called Driving Myself Insane, which we wrote with Emil and Andre Lindahl. Um, Andrew Fromm was a writer on that too. He co-wrote with us on that. And that song kind of just started taking off virally. So then next thing I know, in an email, I get this offer from Japan offering me a record deal, like, do you have a whole album? You says on your MySpace page you got a whole album. Like, well, as a matter of fact, I do, right? 'Cause I've never stopped writing. I had a
Yeah.
catalog of stuff, and so I did a deal with Japan. It was more of a distribution deal. So I manufactured the CD, and they did the distribution. I mixed it, mastered it, and created the literally, the physical copies, shipped them to them, and they sent me a nice fat check. And
Yeah, that's
that, and
awesome.
the great thing was it like gave me a reason to finish another album.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, it gave me a real reason, like, okay, let's do this. And then after a little while, of course, I released the album digitally within the US. And another piece of my catalog is was born.
Yeah, man. That's dope, man. I love that.
The MySpace days, gotta love
it,
it.
it seems like yesterday, man. That was like 20 years. Is that
Don't say that.
no, don't say it out loud.
Don't say that. No, shh,
I'm
shh.
sorry.
Not that long ago. Anybody
I'm
young
just
listening say,
realizing, like, wow,
what
MySpace,
is
like, wow,
MySpace?
yeah, we've been away from MySpace like a long time.
Right. Yep. Yep. Yep.
On that
Yep.
note, I'm gonna take a sip of my lemonade.
Here's here's to MySpace.
Right. With that being said, you continued on to do your successful career, and then boom, you are a member of Color Me Bad.
Well,
Talk a little bit about your entry into the group of Color Me Bad, man.
well, all for one, I talked about my great friend Jamie
Mm.
Jones. They were on tour with Color Me Bad. And one of the members, I will not mention names, but one of the members had some issues and was unable to perform, and it was a lot of problems. And they tried to get him help. Um, from the stories I was told, anyway, they tried to get him help, but they came to a breaking point, and they had this great tour planned and no lead singer. And so Jamie called me and said, I was in Chicago. Jamie called me and said, "Hey man, I don't know if you're interested, but Color Me Bad's looking for a white lead singer. You happen to be white
And a
you can
singer.
sing, right?" So he's like, I'm like, yeah, I'd be interested. So they had heard my Cycles album,
Nice, nice.
the remaining members. And so before too long, they flew out to Chicago, and I built a studio in Chicago at that time. Um, no longer had my EPS, but they came out to the studio, and I had done my homework because I'm like, okay, what are these guys doing? Of course, I knew the material because I was a
Yeah,
fan, right?
yeah.
But I'm like, okay, what are they doing? So I saw things where they were performing like the halftime show at in Detroit, for the Pistons,
Mhm.
and they would do this a cappella, right? And so I listened to that online, and I'm like, I picked out where the lead singer was. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn this. So when they came, they were like, oh, and we do this part. I'm like, I know it. Let's go. So we
Right.
just like that, we locked vocally, and um, I think that was kind of like one of the selling points that I could do all the stuff that their lead singer was able to do.
Yeah,
And also, because again, I'm one of those kids that grew up like listening to music and
right,
emulating, and,
right.
you know, trying to sound like Barry Gibb or Al Green or Philip Bailey, like I can, I was able to kind of cop that vibe. Um, and before too long, man, I was initiated into the group and was on tour with Color Me Bad. And the first gig I did was like the 5,000 seater in um, uh, in New Jersey where they gamble. It's the name's gone right now. Atlantic City.
Atlantic City, yeah.
Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next night we were out here at the Nokia theater, another 5,000 seater with, like Tony, and then we did a few dates with where it was Color Me Bad and Boys to Men, and so we're coming on first, Boys to Men's closing, and just, oh man, just a great time. And I think that was
Very
really
cool.
highlighted in 2014 when we got the call to be a part of the BET Awards to perform live
Mhm.
there. That was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
Just my first time ever performing on live TV, and I'm looking out and I'm like, that's Alicia Keys. That's Pharrell. That's oh. So yeah, where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah, you gotta just remember all your cues. Don't get
Yeah, there's
started.
Snoop, and he's grooving to what we're doing. I'm like, okay, if Snoop's grooving, we must be doing all
Yeah.
right. And that was like a '90s throwback medley with "Color Me Bad," um, uh, "Silk," and "Troop."
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great music in the '90s, man. Great R&B.
You ain't never lied, man. Man, I'm
Freaky
thinking about
baby.
like intro
Yes.
and Silk. Yeah, I love Silk, man.
Yeah.
They had a couple of good
Hmm.
albums. I love them. And then also I don't know if you remember this group called Christian. There were two brothers.
No.
They were on the Rockefeller label. They had
Oh,
this,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
they
I'll have
had
to
this
look them
song
up.
called Full of Smoke that came out about 95, 96.
Okay.
You, you
I'll
gonna
have to,
like
yeah,
that album.
I might have heard it, but I'll
Yeah.
recognize it when I
Yeah,
hear
it's
it.
straight like they sound like Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson back then. They were like the one of the only soul acts on Rockefeller at that time.
Oh,
And
got you.
they were two
Okay.
brothers.
Okay,
Yeah,
I gotta
look
look
them
them
up,
up.
man. Christian,
Yeah,
and the album's called Ghetto Serrano.
got you. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, they were
I will
one of
look
the
that up real
unsung
quick.
groups of the '90s that kind of
Really?
slip under the radar. Yeah,
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. And you also speaking of people that slip under the radar, we don't talk about enough, man. The legendary George Michael, who's no longer
Oh,
with
wow.
us,
Mm,
who I've loved since the Wham days. Wake
yes.
Me Up Before You Go, Careless
Mm,
Whisper,
yeah.
Everything She Wants.
Everything she wants. That's my
Yeah,
that's my
man.
joint right there.
Man, that right there, you can never get tired of that one. And
Yes.
and you happen to do a George Michael tribute show as well. Talk a little
I
bit
I
about,
did, yeah. I haven't done it in a while. It was actually when I was performing with a Prince tribute band as kind of like a guest vocalist up in the Sacramento area. It was, he was the gentleman that runs that.
yeah,
Um, he was the one that brought the idea to me. He's like, I've always wanted to do a George Michael tribute, and I'm like, I could do that. That would sound fun. I've always loved George's music. So we did a number of shows. After that relationship with him kind of fell apart. We just had, differences. I think, bottom line is at the end of the day, he wanted me to be exclusive to that situation. And,
yeah.
I've been a free agent too long, you know what I mean? So, if something's going on at the Viper Room down here, I'm gonna go jump on stage and,
Yeah.
if they invite me, I'm going. They want me to sing
Yeah.
George Michael, I'm gonna sing George Michael that night. They
Right,
want me to sing Prince, I'm gonna sing Prince that night.
right.
So, I guess I wasn't disciplined enough for that situation for his liking. And my idea was I wanted to grow it and let's take it national, let's take it international if we can. But
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that wasn't the same idea that they had. So I did one or two George Michael tributes, and my door is never closed to doing that again. It's just that I work so much
yeah.
that my real passion is the purple music, and so with the time I have, I guess I choose to just you know go and
Stick to that.
and
Huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
with the time I have, and of course with my they call us the dynamic duo, my partner in crime, Alfonso Starr. Shout
Yeah,
out to Alfonso Starr.
Alfonso.
Yeah, man. We always have such a good time together.
Yeah, shout
Whenever
out
we
to
do
Alfonso.
whenever we do those events that it just inspires me. It's always just feels good. Singing Prince music just I don't know, it just does something to me.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned Alfonso. Alfonso is the ultimate DJ hype
Oh yeah.
man. all that. He's the
Entertainer.
ultimate friend. He's a great brother. If you guys get in touch with him, if you want to really see some high tech purple DJing shows, he has purple cruises, love sexy cruises.
Yep,
He is a big Prince head, just like me and my brother Martin here. So that Alfonso
absolutely.
Starr, definitely, ladies and gentlemen, look him up. He is definitely one to look into. If you love Prince, look for Alfonso.
Absolutely. And the next thing, well, we're doing a few things together, but one of the more fun things that's coming up is August 3rd, the Love Sexy Purple Rain Cruise around the bay. We're doing that August 3rd. So that's it's a boat that takes off and just tours the bay that night. And I'm gonna sing. Alfonso's gonna DJ, and we always just sell it out and have a great time. Just a nothing
Yeah,
but a purple party on the boat all night long. It's like a three-tier boat, and everybody just has a blast. So if you're
yeah,
in the Bay Area or can get to the Bay Area August 3rd, look up the Alfonso Stars Love Sexy Cruise, because man, we've done it
absolutely.
a few years in a row, and it's always just some of the most fun times I have of the year. And it's always, unfortunately, gets me in trouble because it falls on my wife's birthday, August 3rd. So she's like, I know, you just gotta be here the night before and we'll celebrate then. So
Yeah,
shout out to Monica. Thank you, babe. Thank you for
at least she's
understanding. She's
understanding.
look, she's welcome to come, but she can't do boats. She gets
Yeah,
sick.
yeah, I understand. Very cool, man. And I know one thing about you that I know, between me and you, part of our friendship, and we both have a deep love for Prince, and we both have a deep love for the Bee Gees.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so wanted to ask you, man, what is funny some of your first memories of the first Prince and Bee Gees songs that you heard that really got you?
Um, well, as a kid, way back in 75 and 76, I was that kid stuck to radio all the time. So as soon
Yeah.
as I came home from school, turn on the radio. I couldn't
Mhm.
concentrate on my homework because I'm listening to the radio,
Yeah,
right?
I get
And
it.
so, when Jive Talking came on, You Should Be Dancing went to number one in 76. And so those songs I paid attention to. And I bought the Bee Gees' Children of the World album in 76. Then I went back because, I could mow lawns and wash cars and make money by then. So I went back and bought the Main Course album by the Bee Gees. Um, my mom and my sisters had always played all the older stuff, Massachusetts and
Yeah,
all the more classic Bee Gees stuff. But
yeah,
but yeah, and then of course Saturday Night Fever came out, and that was just such a classic album. And I was a little kid, my voice hadn't broken yet, so it was perfect for me to sing Barry Gibb songs and Al Green
yeah.
songs because it was right in my register, right in my range. But I gotta say, I think, and I loved the Spirits Having Flown album. It's just still one of my favorite albums of all time. But Too Much Heaven on that album is probably just one of my most classic favorite
Yeah,
all-time songs. Just the
beautiful
beautiful
song.
harmony.
Yeah,
Yeah, just the beautiful
yeah,
harmony in that song. And Prince, the first time I heard Prince was I Want to Be Your Lover. And
yeah,
I heard it again on the radio as we were moving from the suburbs of Detroit, Ann Arbor, to Los Angeles. My dad had been transferred and we were moving, and my mom said, well, Martin wants to be a singer. That's the place to go anyway, right?
yeah.
Um, so he had a choice of Oklahoma or LA. Thank God he chose LA. And so I heard it in the car, and as soon as we landed here in California, I went to I think it was Musicland. Um, Went to Musicland at the Glendale Galleria, and I bought the Prince's album and um, George, well, Funkadelic, the one with Not Just Knee Deep, Uncle Jam Wants
Uncle
You.
Jam,
I
yeah.
bought those two together at the same time. Yeah, and I had my little record player in the hotel, so that was my
Wow.
that was my toy, was my record player that I
Uh,
had with me. So we
yeah,
were staying in a hotel for weeks until we found a house. So,
yeah, yeah. I love that album too, man. Freak of the Week and
oh man, come on.
field maneuvers, all that.
Yeah, yeah. And then
That's a
not too long
classic.
after that, I really dug Roger and Zapp too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The many facets of Roger. That was just
Oh
so
man,
creative, man. Just one
yeah,
of the most creative albums, you know.
yeah,
And of course the Zapp album with more bounce to the ounce, but so rough, so tough, and his version of Grapevine, man,
yeah.
just
And
you
and
know,
Max Axe. Oh, don't forget that
yeah,
one.
yes, you
Yeah,
know.
that's my joint right there, man.
Mhm.
And you had the opportunity to actually perform with the legendary MPG too, man. Talk a little bit about performing with those legends, man.
That was 2019. I had been, you know, performing around um, the country, really, just paying tribute to Prince. And me and Alfonso, we went to DC. We'd been to Canton, Ohio, and we just, you know, we weren't making any money. We were just doing it like, what? You're having a Prince party? Yeah, I'll come DJ
Yeah,
and I'll come sing, and we'll, you know, we'll celebrate it, you know, together. And before too long, then I started doing some of the events around what they now call celebration, but around the anniversary of Prince's passing in April, I go to Minneapolis and I did some things with um, at the Minnesota Music Cafe with JB and the Routine. They invited me to join them one night, and you know, so I guess you know just because I think that I try to do it at a high level, and that you know Prince is not an easy voice to um, try to cover, um,
absolutely.
and you know just being my dedication to trying to do what I do well, you know, I think I just got the attention of um, some of the people. And I, of course, will post my videos of, you know, like me recreating Scandalous or recreating God from the B side of Purple Rain.
Mm,
Um, and I guess Tony Mosley had seen the videos and heard about me, and he was the one that when Mackenzie was the lead singer, it is the lead
yeah.
singer of MPG, but he was doing America's Got Talent at the time.
Mhm.
Um, and so they're like, you know, they had these shows booked, and I'm like, we need a singer. And Tony put my name forward, and Morris and Mackenzie actually came over to the house and they'd sent me the music in advance and Morris played and I sung and they were like, okay, yeah, you're good. We got you. So we're doing Chandler, Arizona, and then we're doing New Orleans and you know, but that call actually came from Joe Willis and I did not realize at the time that when I got this call and people were like, hey, this lady Joe Willis is trying to reach you. I'm like, oh, okay, who's Joe Willis? I didn't know that she was actually Prince's manager,
Yeah,
right? um, and so, you know, she connected with me and, you know, said that they were interested in having me join them as a guest vocalist. And that was just like, you know,
yeah,
one of those moments that I'll
yeah.
never forget once I realized what the opportunity was. And then, you know, just the first time just at sound check, you know, standing on stage and, you
Mm,
know, I think I was going to do two or three songs within the whole show. And, you know, we're sound checking and I'm like, that's Tamar. That, that's, that is Levi behind me. That's Sonny T behind me, right? That's, you know, that's Morris right behind me. um, and yeah, just a surreal moment, man. And
I can
Tony
imagine.
M and Dame Dixon and everybody, man. Just you know, just good brothers, man. And
Mhm.
then before too long, then we did dates in Europe, and that was just brilliant. Going to my home country and performing, you
Yeah,
know, my family was there, my friends that I haven't seen in years, you know, but they were able to come and you know
that's awesome.
see me on stage with Prince's band, and
Yeah,
it's just just a dream come another dream come true moment.
Yeah, yeah, you can't make that up, man.
No, man. No.
Like you
So if
said,
ever they
you still picture yourself.
if they call again, my phone is on.
Yeah.
Just like Prince's microphone was on, my phone is
Yeah.
on.
The
But
number
man,
ain't
I got
changed.
right, right. But yeah, just I mean, Mackenzie does such a fantastic job. I think he's the perfect fit
Yeah.
for what they
Yeah,
do
he bad.
because he has
Yeah.
his own thing and he does what he does authentically and he's such an
Yeah.
entertainer,
Totally
you know,
agree. Yeah.
but if they ever need a supplement, my phone is on.
I know that's right, man.
Yes,
I got
sir.
call me back. Call me back. Man, that's awesome, man. That stuff is legendary, man. And like people, dream of doing things like that. So happy for you that you got the opportunity to perform with legends and also
Thank
people
you,
that you've
man.
admired over the TV and video and going to the concerts and you actually standing there next to them. It's like, oh man, this is what
Exactly.
this is what I've dreamed of my entire life. Yeah,
Yes.
you got some new stuff that's in the work right now, man. Talk a little bit about the secret project that's working right now.
I'm still developing it. In fact, I did a remake, an all a cappella remake of Alexander O'Neal's Sunshine.
Ooh.
And I kind of approached it almost like, okay, so Alexander O'Neal's Sunshine came out in the 80s,
Mhm.
but during the 90s, the big a cappella thick harmony
Yeah,
vocal thing was and nobody's doing that, right?
yeah.
And so I'm like, well, what if I kind of combined the two, right? So my approach was, okay, I'm trying to be like a one man boys to men, right? But that song, Sunshine, which is always almost one of my absolute favorites from
Oh
Alexander
yeah,
O'Neill,
yeah.
if not my favorite. So I've got that ready to release. I had Victor Orlando come in last week and play some percussion on it because I just wanted a little bit of rhythmic element to it other than just the finger snaps and the vocal. And what was on there was just me on and I'm like, we can do better, Martin. We can do better. I brought in Victor, so I've got to mix his parts now and
Okay,
finish mixing it, and then I've got another few things that I've created, which is more like um, R&B and pop melodies, but and R&B and pop chords, but mixed with the Afrobeat type thing. Um, and so I've got some things there that I'm really happy with that are going to be included in the project. And then, I got to have one of those throwback funk dance,
of
80s,
course, of
got to
course.
have, so I got a few of them, you know what I mean? So I'm
Mm.
just trying to figure out, do I want to make this album like a direction or do I just want to kind of be, and my gut says I just kind of want to be all over the map on this album, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? And just do everything that I love and everything that feels good, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and so yeah, that's kind of where how it's ended up. So it's not done yet, and still looking to, add some pieces, but I think I'm as soon as I get the chance to go in and mix in Victor's percussion parts. I think I'm just going to drop um, that Sunshine uh, as just something to something to give to the people who consume and are interested in hearing what I do next. You know what I mean?
Cool, cool. Do you think that we'll have that by this year or sometime early part of next year,
Oh
maybe?
no, it's going to be this year,
It'll
man.
be this year? Okay.
And I'm not the kind that's like I'm going to plan this big thing and I'm just going to drop it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
hey,
some
this
people
sounds
are
good.
some
Drop
people are perfectionists. They keep going back, going back, going back, and next thing you know, like Stevie Wonder, for example. Next thing you know, 2 years
Oh yeah.
going by. I need to go back and fix the track. It's like, it's fine,
Right.
leave it alone.
Exactly. Just give us music, Stevie. Just give us music. Yeah.
Man,
But yeah, nah, within probably the next, month or so, I'll probably at least get that one out. But I'll
oh
continue to
man, okay,
work on the album, and
okay,
just until I find, just the right set of things that feel like it's representative of, kind of where I am right now
yeah.
creatively and just representative of what feels good. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man. No, I heard that, man. I know you
And I
mentioned.
love what you're doing, man, bringing back the funk.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you,
Love what you
man.
guys are doing, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We
In
still
fact, we got to
gotta.
collaborate
I
on
know.
something,
Yeah,
man.
we
You
still got
know?
to make that connect and make something happen, man. 'Cause
Yes,
yeah, I think we'll make some hot shit, man, for sure.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because you guys
Absolutely.
got the funk and I got the melody. So,
For
hey,
sure.
let's
Yeah,
go.
definitely, definitely. And I know you mentioned some August dates coming up. Is there any other dates coming up that you'll be performing anytime soon or anytime after?
Yeah, June the 19th in Minneapolis, I'm going to do the Purple Genealogy party, the
Cool.
kickoff party right before celebration. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. That's at the Women's Club. In fact, let me just make sure I
He
get the
says
information.
Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, that's June 19th
Okay.
at the Women's Club in Minneapolis. That starts at 7:30 to midnight. And so you can go to Purple G. I'll post this on my flyer on my social media pages too. I've
Cool.
posted it already, but um, yeah, so that's a lot of fun. That's June 19th. Um, July I believe it's the 13th. Me and Alfonso Starr are going to do Vegas. This is more of a per plate venue. So where you buy dinner, you get the show, you get the DJ, you get the party. And so I'll be announcing that. I haven't got all the details on that
Okay.
as yet. But
But that's in
it's
Vegas, you
handshake
said?
deal right now. That's in Vegas. Yeah, in
Okay.
July.
Okay.
Yep. And then of course the Love Sexy Cruise August 3rd. And we're working on the Troubadour out here in Los Angeles for
Oh man.
September. Yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun too. So I
That's
don't
right.
have the date yet for September, but then we're working on September, or if not September, very early October. So I'll be announcing that just as soon as we firm all the details up there.
Cool. I will keep my eyes and ears open. The public will do the same. And I will always share and repost everything too as well, man. Definitely
Appreciate
support
that, man.
everything. Absolutely, man.
No doubt. Mm.
My man Martin Kember, thank you so much for stopping through. If you don't mind, before we depart, if you can go ahead and leave your Instagram, Facebook handles, or any way if you would like people to go ahead and find your music or contact you for any bookings.
Absolutely. Well, the website for the Purple Musicology show is just that, purplemusicology.com. So you can find all my socials on there too, and the booking info for that show. And on Instagram, I'm simply Martin underscore Kember. I'm really active on Facebook too. Uh, Martin Kember Music is the music page, but Martin Kember one is my personal page. That's where, you know, I use the personal page more than anything. um, I am on TikTok. You can just look for Martin underscore Kember on TikTok also. My daughter made sure I was on TikTok. Um, and I'm not on Snapchat. And yeah, just my website is martinkember.com, but I haven't updated that in a while, so I'm kind of behind on that. But Purple Musicology is the one that I keep updated because that's the one that kind of is more relevant to what I'm doing at the moment.
Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Thank you for providing that information for my viewers.
For
Ladies
sure,
and
man.
gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping in. Multi-talented performer, singer, songwriter, producer, Martin Kimber. Thank you so much, brother, for stopping through Digital Soul Presents, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. And
Thank
hey,
you.
send me some tracks, man. Let's go.